Hi guys, and welcome back to another Premier League prediction video. Last time out we got no scores correct, but there were some shocking results such as Villa beating Spurs, Newcastle drawing with Leeds, Everton holding Man City to a point with just one shot on target, so it wasn't as straightforward as a lot of people would have imagined. Now, before we get into these predictions, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any more Premier League predictions. Let's get into my predictions. And we start off with Brentford against Liverpool. And this one might not be as straightforward as it looks as well, because Brentford, their last three games, before the World Cup, they beat Man City. Then after the World Cup, they've drawn with Spurs, a game which they were leading 2-0, and they've beaten West Ham 2-0. So Brentford are in very good form. Liverpool's last game was that 2-1 win over Leicester, where unfortunately defender Wout Faes scored two own goals. Hasn't happened for a very long time, and it's only ever happened three times in Premier League history. So it was unfortunate, it was poor defending, and he had a very bad game. He'll be hoping to put it behind him, but it gave Liverpool all 3 points. And Leicester played pretty well in that one. I don't think Liverpool really blew them away. So it's interesting to see how Liverpool are going to face up here. I've got a sneaky feeling that Brentford at home will manage to get something, as they have previously against Liverpool. So down the middle, 1-1. Arsenal up against Newcastle, and this has never been such an exciting tie. Arsenal are in very, very good form. They do not look like stopping anytime soon, constantly winning. The front four keep scoring. Jesus is injured, and Nketiah's filled in very well for him. Ødegaard is still, the magician that he is. He's doing very, very well. And I just don't see them stopping anytime soon. But this is a big test because Newcastle are very strong defensively and they're third in the league. They're really flying. Could Newcastle potentially derail Arsenal's title bid? There is a chance, but I've just got that feeling that Arsenal have too much in attack. Newcastle, with a few players out, might not be able to be threatening at the top end of the pitch. I think Arsenal are just going to clinch this one and hold on for a 1-0 win. Everton face off against Brighton. Now, Everton have been in worrying form as of late. They did lose to Wolves a week ago, but they got a very good point against Man City. 1-1 draw. Demarai Gray scoring a brilliant, stunning effort into the top corner. Unsavable. And he created that chance out of nothing. And Everton didn't have a chance all game. They were very, very poor creatively. But it just took that one moment of magic that a player like Demarai Gray can sometimes give you. And he got a point out of that game for them. Brighton, they managed a loss in their last game against Arsenal. They won before that against Southampton. They've been in decent form. They are a good side. I've just got a feeling that Everton will manage to get something at home on the back of that result. So I'm going to go down the middle, 1-1. Leicester face Fulham now. Leicester were unfortunate with those two Faes own goals in the last game against Liverpool. In a game that they played pretty well in, they ended up losing. Fulham are in very, very good form, continuing to win. They beat Southampton in their last fixture, and they're 7th in the league. They're absolutely smashing it. And they're a newly promoted side, let's not forget. So, there's normally one newly promoted side that comes up and has a very good season. It's normally someone new that we haven't seen for a while, which is why a lot of people would have put it as Forest and thought that Fulham and Bournemouth might be down there. Instead, it's Fulham that have broken through. They're playing Mitrovic this time in the Premier League, and it's working because he's a very good goal scorer. Something that Scott Parker should have known. For some reason, he didn't play him. They ended up going down, came back up, and Marco Silva seems to have it spot on. I think that Fulham are going to get the win here. They're very good at home, but I feel like they can really get at this Leicester side with their exciting attack. So Fulham to win 2-1. Man United face Bournemouth. Now, Man United have been in very, very good form of late. They did beat Wolves 1-0 in a game that Rashford, very informed Rashford, didn't start due to turning up late for a training session or a meeting. Fair enough. If it's in the club's policy, you have to, give those rules out for everyone. So he was punished. He started on the bench, brought him on, and he scores the winner. Rashford is in such good form at the moment. It would have been very hard for Ten Hag to leave him out. But as I say, if you have basically a company policy, you have to stick to it. They did that. Rashford comes on and they reap the rewards of his brilliant form. Now, they are up against a struggling Bournemouth side. They've really started dropping down the table. They were in a decent bit of form, but I don't see many more points for them at the moment. Got some tough fixtures. I think that Man United are going to get all 3 points here, pretty convincingly, 2-0. A massive tie down in the relegation zone. Southampton up against Nottingham Forest. Southampton, I'm not sure where their next point is going to come from because they have looked very, very poor recently. Ralph Hasenhüttl got sacked. They brought in Nathan Jones from Luton. He had a thing before. He brought Luton up. Then he moved to Stoke. Was awful at Stoke. Went back to Luton. Brilliant at Luton. He only seems to be able to do, so far in his career, that Luton job. He's came to Southampton. Things haven't turned around form-wise, from his predecessor. I've got a feeling this really isn't going to work out because he just seems to have a thing with Luton where it only really works there. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But I've got a feeling now that Southampton are destined for relegation. Forest, on the other hand, got a brilliant point against Chelsea. Outplayed them in the second half. Forest with a much better side. And Chelsea didn't really look threatening at all. They don't really create any chances. They don't seem like a creative team. They took one chance, which came from a bit of a dodgy deflection. Ended up with a Sterling open goal. But Forest were very, very good. And I think Forest have that extra level. If they can get to it, they'll beat Southampton. And I've got a feeling that after that brilliant result in their last fixture, they will be able to get that extra level. So, Southampton, unfortunately, I see you losing this really big clash. Forest to win 1-0. Next up, Leeds take on West Ham. Now, Leeds did brilliantly to hold Newcastle to a point, especially being the away side. Melier with another very good game, and he is a very good goalkeeper. Leeds are quite an exciting team. I'm still enjoying them, and I like their attack. They've got some good players in there. They're very fast-paced, and I'm hoping that they can stay up because I think it would be a shame if they did go down this season. They're just, it's better than having a team that's just stagnated like Southampton. Obviously, no offence, Southampton fans. It's not your fault that your team is very boring to watch. But it was like Burnley. They needed to go down just to sort of reinvent themselves, which they are now doing under company. And if they do come up, they'll be very exciting. Now, Leeds are in, pretty good form. They seem to be scoring a lot of goals. A team that don't seem to be doing that are West Ham. They're in awful form. 5 losses in a row. People calling for David Moyes to be sacked. Has he got a bit of credit in the bank from what he's done over the past few seasons? I think he does. If the players are no longer deciding to play for him, and it's sort of on purpose, then sure, you have to get rid of him. But I think it's just a bit of bad form. I'm thinking they will come out of it at some point, but we've seen this with clubs that have done well one season and then something's happened. Look at Leicester. this season, at the start of it, they were terrible. Everton were really good under Ancelotti. Season after, in a relegation battle. So West Ham could really be down here by the end of the season, but I've got a feeling they'll make it better at some point, just not now. I think Leeds' pace will be too much for them. West Ham might be decent on the counter-attack, but I'll go Leeds to get all 3 points and win it 2-1. Big West Midlands derby. Aston Villa taking on Wolves. Villa, brilliant result, beating Spurs 2-0. I had them down for a draw. I thought they could get something out of Spurs at the moment because they don't look very good. They managed to get all 3 points. Second goal from Douglas Luiz was very good. First goal, big mistake from Lloris. But Tottenham didn't look like they'd be able to score if they were still playing, to be honest. That was such a terrible performance from an attacking perspective, especially when they've got the likes of Kane and Son. Wasn't working. They couldn't create anything for them. Wolves have been decent recently. They beat Everton in a very big, sort of relegation clash. Then they just lost to Man United, but they did hold out for a long portion of that game. They seem like, the usual Wolves at the moment. Decent defensively. Can't really score up top. But I think they will get a bit of change out of this Villa defence, as I'm still not too optimistic about them. I'm going to go this West Midlands derby to have the shares spoiled. 1-1. Palace up against Spurs. Patrick Vieira at home against his old rivals Tottenham Hotspur. And I've got a feeling it could be a pretty good day for Vieira, because Palace won their last game against Bournemouth, finding the back of the net. They were very good at set pieces, something that Bournemouth aren't very good at defending. But Palace, they have got a bit about them, especially at home. They seem to be able to get some very good results. Spurs, on the other hand, not in great form at all. Lost 2-0 to Villa. Didn't look like scoring, and, still don't look like scoring. It's a team that's relied so heavily on Kane and Son scoring all of their goals. This season, they're both not in form, and that's why they're struggling. Son looks completely lost. Kane needs a bit of service. He's doing the typical Kane thing, which I absolutely hate. Some people like it, but he's the striker. He keeps dropping into midfield. He was doing it for England. He drops into a hole in midfield because he wants to be involved in the game. He gets the ball, and it just means there's no one up front. It's a bit frustrating. I've always thought, not always, but over the past few seasons, maybe play him as an attacking mid. If he wants to be involved in the game, put him in attacking mid and just put someone up front who can run in behind people, because Kane's build-up play and passing is very good, probably underrated. His finishing is brilliant, but he doesn't like staying up there because he likes getting involved and having touches of the ball. You look at Man City, Haaland, he stays up there. He doesn't care about not touching the ball because he knows someone will play a ball through to him and he's going to get a chance and probably take it. Kane doesn't seem to do that at the moment, and maybe he should start doing it. Obviously, I'm not one to say, Kane should be doing this. He's a world-class footballer. He's a world-class finisher. But if you want to be a world-class finisher, in my opinion, you have to be up front at some point, and he never seems to be there. Tottenham's frustration at the moment. They're having a lot of issues. Fans getting a bit frustrated, and understandably so. I'd be frustrated if I managed to just lose to Aston Villa. But I've got a feeling it's going to get worse. Crystal Palace to win. Vieira to get all 3 points. 1-0. And last up, a massive clash. Chelsea against Man City. I don't think Chelsea have a chance. Now, I say this against most people when it comes to Man City, But some of the big teams do have the firepower to get the better of City. Tottenham always seem to do it every season. They always seem to beat City. It's strange, but this Chelsea side, in an attacking sense, just do not look good enough. They're not creative. They're very soft in midfield. They give the ball away cheaply. They're easy to sort of tackle in the midfield. I've got a feeling that Man City will win this comfortably. Chelsea aren't going to give them too many issues. Chelsea's main thing is being strong defensively, and I don't think they've got enough to hold out City, and I think City have enough to hold out Chelsea. So for me, Man City to win 2-0. So, those are my predictions for these upcoming Premier League fixtures. If you agree with what I've said or disagree, make sure to get your feelings down in the comments, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I want to try and push this now. I want to try and get quite a few subscribers together. I want it to start taking off. I feel like, thank you very much to the subscribers and the viewers at the moment that keep coming, but I feel like we could really start pushing and getting out there. So if you enjoy this content and you think you know people that will, try and share it with them. Try and get their opinions onto the channel. I really would appreciate it. I set a goal for the end of this season to have 1,000 subscribers. That is very unrealistic now. But if we can try and hit 300, that would be great. Let me know if there are any features you'd like me to bring to the channel, any video ideas that you might have of like a gaming series. Championship predictions have stopped because it's too much for my schedule at the moment. I am very, very busy. It's going to be very difficult to keep that up. I chose Premier League because it tends to be once a week, once we're out of this festive period. And that is a sort of schedule I can keep up. The FIFA videos will be back very, very soon. And I am going to put out 3 or 4 in quite quick succession just to try and catch up with what I've missed. I have moved house, hence why I haven't been able to get those videos out. But very soon they should be with you. But if there's any games you'd like me to play, whether it's, the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 campaign, or a Football Manager series that you can get involved in, or maybe a Football Manager challenge, I have to take a certain team, get Arsenal back to a brilliant side winning the league, something like that, because that's something they could possibly be doing this season. But just make sure to get your suggestions down below. Thank you very much to everyone who is watching the channel and pushing it along. I am really grateful. If you're not subscribed already though, hit that button. Why not? Hopefully your teams do well if you're a neutral. Hopefully whoever you're wanting to win does well. Thank you very much for watching.